What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So Nintendo had their latest Direct this morning. It was a Xenoblade Direct, which I'm not really mad at since I really love Xenoblade. And to be honest, I'm not really sure why, but I really didn't expect us to get much from this Direct. But surprisingly, I guess I already knew this Direct was 20 minutes, but it was actually like 25 minutes and we actually saw quite a lot. So I want to cover a lot of this stuff that we saw in this Direct. I'm only going to be covering the major things, so before we get into it, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, it would be appreciated. We're on our way to 400 subscribers. Also, another thing, my last video is doing really well, and thank you guys. Thank you all the people who are new. I've gained several subscribers. That video has gotten so many views, and it's only been a few days, so thank you. But now on to Xenoblade. So we immediately learn that the citizens of Kevis and Agnes are bred to fight and go to war. So from a young age, they're taught to fight, and the objective of this fighting is to fill their nation's flame clock. The flame clock that's filled is located on the Furanis, which is a giant weapon of war that looks like it was made out of old Mechon parts, but more on the Furanis later. Now, we don't know what the flame clock is or its significance to the story, but we do know it is filled when people die on the battlefield. Everyone only lives about 10 years, and each year is equal to one term, and if you happen to survive your 10-year lifespan, you receive a homecoming ceremony where I presume you're sent off and sacrificed to your nation's flame clock. Which brings me to Mio. We learned that Mio is actually in her final term and that she only has 3 months to live, and if I had to guess, this will probably be one of the major things that her and the party has to overcome throughout the story. We also get a much better look at Ionios. There is a huge variety of landscapes in this game, and I just hope that Xenoblade Chronicles 3's world is the largest world out of any previous Xenoblade. And to be honest, at certain points in this trailer, it looks like this world is a lot more connected than the worlds in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2. And I may even go as far as to say that this game looks like it could possibly be open world. Let's just hope so, because that would actually be really cool, because I know Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it was, you had all the titans and you go to the different areas and you had loading screens and all that sort of stuff. But who knows, maybe if in this game, they may not have any loading screens or anything like that. It was similar with Xenoblade 1, where all the areas are connected, but you have loading screens and everything. So who knows, maybe this will be like Breath of the Wild and there are pretty much no loading screens. Also, many of the enemies seem like they were ripped straight from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and it seems like the only difference between a lot of these animals and creatures and enemies and stuff is it looks like they have just different colored skins or slight minimal differences, with only a few enemies being new. We also got to look at some of the colonies in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Each colony has its own Furanis, and in the trailer it's mentioned that the Furanis is a mobile base and a weapon of war. And I'm really interested to see the extent of these Furanis and to what extent are they bases, because if they're bases, one, I assume that they'll probably be in the military district of their colonies, and I wonder if you can explore them and like buy certain items and get certain things from these areas. But just like any other Xenoblade colony, you just have basic stuff like shopping, and we also get to see the return of rest spots, which I can't remember, I don't think they were in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but we did see them in Torn of the Golden Country, and at those rest spots you can cook, you can craft, and you can make gems which make your abilities even stronger. We also get to see at these rest areas that you can talk about missions and things that you heard in town from people in town, which is I guess how you accept missions in this game, which is how it made it seem, or at least how it was framed in the trailer. Now, a feature that I really like that we saw in this Direct is the quest route. It shows you where to go for your next quest, and this is a really cool feature in my opinion, because I assume that this feature encompasses not only side quests but also story missions, and if you're someone like me who strives to do everything in Xenoblade, or at least as much as I possibly can, this feature helps you find items and quest locations much faster, and will really save me a lot of time in a game as big as this. Since all of these Xenoblade games are like 100 hours, I assume this game is probably similar. Like even Xenoblade 2, it took me hundreds of hours. The main story is probably like 90-100 hours, but doing everything else, all the extra side quests, the little quests, upgrading characters, defeating certain enemies, all that stuff adds up, and if it can lead me to wherever I'm trying to go much easier and much faster, that is so much appreciated. Now, Xenoblade's battle system is something that I am not the biggest expert in, so forgive me if my knowledge isn't up to par. But that being said, the battle system looks just like Xenoblade Chronicles 2's, but better. The dodge is also also a welcome addition, and we also get to see the return of Break, Topo, Launch, and Smash, which is something I'm really happy to see return because it just makes the battles much more satisfying than they otherwise would be. We also get to see classes, and each character is a different class, and each character can also change into the class of another character. The main classes are Attacker, Defender, and Healer, but those are further broken down into smaller classes, which those classes that they announced in this trailer are Sword Fighter, Zephyr, Medic, Gunner, Tactician, Heavy Guard, and Ogre. Another thing that I forgot is each character can also learn multiple classes, and by upgrading your class you can learn Master Arts so that you have a wider amount of attacks, similar to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where you could equip different attacks depending on the blade you were using or depending on the weapons and everything. And even from there, you can use Fusion Arts, which combines arts to make a much more powerful attack. We also have Heroes. Heroes are citizens of Ionios, brave citizens of Ionios, and they serve as the 7th party member, and each hero has their own unique class. We already saw Xeon, Valdi, Riku, and Manana, but now in this trailer, we get to see Ashera, Fiona, Alexandria, and Gray. There are also several more hero characters like Juniper, and there will likely be even more heroes that we learn about when the game actually releases. They are really doing a lot with the battle system and characters this time around, but that isn't the most exciting part about it. The most exciting part about it, in my opinion, is the Ouroboros forms. We already saw them in the last trailer and that in their pairs, but what we didn't know about is that the Ouroboros actually has multiple forms with different abilities, and that the Ouroboros is controlled by one of the party members, and you can actually swap between these forms and upgrade them in battle, which is pretty cool. So already we have like such a interesting, complex sort of battle system. I mean, a lot of times these battle systems are like complex. Like even for me, there was a lot of things in Xenoblade 2 I didn't do till I was like a while in. So I had a bunch of stuff that I could just upgrade immediately. But if you're a new player, it may seem a little overwhelming, but I'm sure you'll get used to it like I eventually did with Xenoblade 2. But before I get to the last part of the direct, there is one part that I haven't talked about yet, and that is the villains, aka Mobius. So we don't get any of the names for these characters, and I'm sure that that would probably be a spoiler in the game, but what we do know is that these characters are capable of becoming Ouroboros, and that they're likely the ones that the two nations of Kevis and Agnes are after. Each of the members of the Mobius Council is represented by letters, and if we're to take this scene at face value, it appears that each of the Mobius is capable of Ouroboros transformation without a partner, and perhaps this is even possible because of the suits that they wear. Either way, these guys seem really cool, they seem like really hype villains, and as usual with Xenoblade games, there's probably someone or something hiding in the background controlling everything, which I think may be the character that we see talking to all of these guys. But either way, I love these characters, they look pretty cool. I can't wait to see them in the actual game. The final news of the Direct is that we're getting an expansion pass for $29.99, which is the same price as Xenoblade Chronicles 2's expansion pass. It includes all the basics of an expansion pass like items, outfits, and quests, but the main thing that I'm focused on is this new story scenario, which releases like much later than everything else. And I'm calling it now. This is what you're paying for. It'll probably be another game similar to the size of Torn of the Golden Country, and if that's true, I'll just wait for the physical version to come out, since I have all the Xenoblades. I have every Xenoblade on Switch, the physical copy, including Torna, so that's what I'll do this time around. And I think I can guess the story of this DLC now. We'll probably get a small connection to the previous Xenoblade games in the main game of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but based on the image that they used for this expansion pass, I'm guessing that it'll go into much more detail about the direct connection between Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, in a similar way that Torn of the Golden Country took place 500 years before Xenoblade 2. And the reason I think this is because the image that they use for the Xenoblade 3 expansion pass shows Noah's sword, Shulk's replica Monado, and the Aegis from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm just calling it now. That's what I assume this expansion pass is going to be. And also there's amiibo support, so that's nice. I mean, this direct had so much more than I thought I was going to have, especially the DLC. I think when Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had its direct, They actually did mention that it was going to have DLC, and I didn't think it was called Torn of the Golden Country yet, but they probably mentioned it in a similar way to the way that they did it here. I feel like with this direct, we got exactly what we were missing with Xenoblade 3. Like, we saw a lot of story details so far, but I feel like, I don't know, all the information that we needed to know, we got it, and I think it's just enough that it doesn't spoil what's going to happen in this game or anything like that. And Ionios looks like it could be, Ionios honestly looks like it could have the best world design in the series, and I'm happy to see that there are so many diverse areas, and it seems like the world is super connected, so that's a plus, and I'm so happy that this game comes out in only about a month. The fact that it's a month away is so crazy. Like, wow. The turnaround time for this game was like super fast, at least as far as we know. But honestly, I can wait because the moment I get this game, all my time is gonna be gone. I won't have time for anything. But now I just have to get my hands on the special edition. But guys, tell me your thoughts on this direct. Did it make you more excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 3? It certainly made me more excited, and I'm happy. I'm so happy that we got this morning. But tell me in the comment section below what you think, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. I've been Bro Show, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.